Hare Krishna. The water is here. Help yourself. Bathroom is first left. So, if you can sit on the floor, chairs are here. Comfortable.
Oh, it's here.
Yes.
You could do this one is the Goranga Walita 2v2 is Goranga Karuna.
These are all the songs from him. Oh, okay. This is what I wanted. So, in the beginning we should sing the song or in the end?
No, in the middle.
In the middle.
We rather not have
जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन
Hare His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanar Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Varya Ashtottar Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद्भागवतम कथा की जय हो। युग धर्म श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय हो। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय हो। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया। भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. At the very onset of present day's discourse, I would like to offer my most respectfully prostrated obeisances unto the lotus feet of their divine lordships Shri Shri Radha and Shyama Sundara Dev, along with their eternal associates like Shri Lalita Devi, Shri Vishakha Devi, Shri Ruparati Manjari, etc. And along with that, I would also like to submit my most respectfully prostrated homages unto the lotus feet of their divine lordships Shri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Shri Shri Nityananda Prabhu, along with their transcendental perpetual entourage such as Shri Larupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, and all the other 6 Goswamis of Shri Dhama Vrindavan. Finally, I would like to offer my obeisances unto the lotus feet of His Divine Grace, Abhaya Charanara Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who has very nicely and very artistically propagated the doctrine of Krishna consciousness throughout this world in this present modern era in a most unique and fantastic way. Conclusively, after offering my obeisances unto all the senior Vaishnavas and devotees present, I would then like to start the context of our discussion, the context of the 2nd chapter of Srimad-Bhagavatam's 10th canto, entitled as Upon the Advent of Lord Krishna, the Prayers Offered by the Demigods. So, as we have been discussing since past 2 days of our Srimad-Bhagavatam Katha or weekly discourse session, we already discussed on the first day that Srimad-Bhagavatam has 7 types of meanings. Actually Srimad-Bhagavatam is unlimited, because in the Chaitanya Charitamritam Madhya Leela 24th chapter 312th text, Mahaprabhu is telling that Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhu Sarvashraya Pratishloke Pratiyakshare Nana Arthakaya, that Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhu Sarvashraya. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the personification of Shri Krishna, and for that same reason, since Krishna's Swarup is all pervasive, as we were discussing yesterday, why we were discussing about the pervasiveness of Krishna and his omnipotencies, his inconceivable energies, and especially his Virodha Banjika Shakti, because this was our target. Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhu Sarvashraya. Because the internal identity of the Lord is that he is all pervasive. His Swarup is Sarva Vyapi. For that reason, Srimad Bhagavatam, being the self-same Shri Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam is also Vibhu. Vibhu means all pervasive, unlimited, Ananta and Sarvavyapi. And because Srimad Bhagavatam is Ananta, Ananta means without limits, without an end, without any type of formal termination. Srimad Bhagavata is actually without any type of termination, end, or any type of cessation. So that is why it is known as unlimited, Vibhu, which has no limit, and for that reason it is known as Sarvavyapi or all pervasive. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, just as Lord is all pervasive, Vibhu, he is not finite, rather he is infinite. In the same way Srimad Bhagavatam is also infinite, and Srimad Bhagavatam is also Sarvashraya. Just as the Lord is considering himself to be the ultimate shelter of all the living beings. Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvatam prutam sutre manigala iva, in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that everything rests upon my energies. Ekamshena sthito jagat, that I have entered into this material universe just by my one expansion, or just by my one portion, known as the localized portion, also known as Paramatma or Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. By this expanded portion, known as Ansha, Paramatma, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, I have entered into this material universe. The Lord himself does not never enter into this material world or material universe directly. Rather, he enters or he pervades this material phenomenal world through his expansion, Shiradakshay Vishnu. So, Vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam. Vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekamshena sthito jagat. This is the conclusion of the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also. So just as the Lord is telling that I am Sarvashraya, I am the shelter of all the living beings. Mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutri manigaraiva. In the same way, Srimad-Bhagavatam, along with being all pervasive, it is also the shelter of all the living beings. Just like I am the shelter, Bhagavatam is also the shelter. Vibhu Sarvashraya, prati shloke prati akshare, nana arthakaya. And Mahaprabhu is explaining that for that reason, because it is Vibhu and Sarvashraya, Srimad-Bhagavatam's every shloka, every text, every verse, every statement found within this Srimad-Bhagavatam, and what to speak just of a statement, either found in a prose or in kaun form, either found in a padya form or a gadya form, padya or prose and verse, prose and verse. Prose means gadya and verse means padya. Padya means chandobadda, that statement which is meterized, which fits in a particular type of meter. That statement is known as padya or verse, shloka. And that statement which is not meterized, which does not fit into a particular type of chanda, is rather known as gadya or prose. So Srimad-Bhagavatam, some parts of Srimad-Bhagavatam have proses, some have verses. Most of Srimad-Bhagavatam has verses, only some parts have proses. Especially the 5th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam is full of gadyas, or those statements which are not meterized, proses. So, every statement of Srimad-Bhagavatam, and what to speak of every statement, and there are two types of statements as we have just analyzed, prose and verse, gadya and padya. What to speak of every statement, every word found within this Srimad-Bhagavatam. Then Mahaprabhu thinks, oh, what to speak of a word, every syllable, every varna, every akshara, every letter, every consonant and every vowel found within this verse. Akshara means every vowel, every consonant, every letter, every syllable. Every syllable found within each word of Srimad-Bhagavatam tells many different meanings. Nana arthakaya. So, by this we can infer that Srimad-Bhagavatam, because it is the personification of the Lord, and actually Lord has 4 personifications, except apart from his Swarupa, he appears actually in 5 different ways. Bhagavata Tulsi Gangaya Bhakta Jane Chaturdha Vigraha Krishna Ei Chari Sane. Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Leela, it has been described that Lord appears in 5 different forms. First as Srimad-Bhagavatam, second as the Tulsi plant, third as the Ganges river, Ganges water, Ganga Jal, fourth as his Mahabhagavatas, as his pure devotees, and fifth as his deity form. Pratima Nahitumi Sakshat Vrajendra Nandam. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling in Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Leela that, oh Krishna, you are not, this is not Pratima. This deity form of yours is not representing you. Pratima means that which does pratinidhitva. That which does pratinidhitva is called pratima. Pratinidhitva means that which represents. That which represents is known as pratima. An idol represents, a statue represents. But the Lord himself, when he appears as deity form, that Lord is not represented by his deity form. Rather, the deity form is the direct Lord himself. Pratima Nahitumi Sakshat Vrajendra Nanda. So we can understand from these statements of Chaitanya Bhagavat that Srimad-Bhagavatam, along with the deity form of the Lord, is Sakshat Vrajendra Nanda, is directly Shri Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda and Yashoda himself. So this Srimad-Bhagavatam, although it has unlimited meanings, primarily the Acharyas have considered 7-fold meanings of Srimad-Bhagavatam. So, first 4 meanings are considered to be general meanings, and the later 3 meanings, the former 4 meanings are considered to be general meanings, and the latter three meanings are considered to be specific meanings. Vishesh Artha and Samanya Artha. So, in total, 4 general and 3 specific come out to be 7 meanings. So, how the 7 meanings are derived? First of all, the Granthartha is taken. Granthartha. Granthartha means the ultimate meaning which is to be propounded by the whole Srimad-Bhagavatam aggregate. The ultimate meaning which is to be propounded by the whole Srimad-Bhagavatam in its aggregate form. Whole Srimad-Bhagavatam, that means including 12 cantos, including 335 chapters, including 18,000 verses, and including 100 prakaranas, 100 topics described in Srimad-Bhagavatam. Srimad-Bhagavatam comes out, if the whole meaning is taken of this Srimad-Bhagavatam, which has 12 cantos, which has 100 prakaranas, which has 335 adhyaya, chapters, and which has 18,000 verses. The whole meaning of this total Srimad-Bhagavatam, the aggregate form of Srimad-Bhagavatam, the meaning of this aggregate form is known as Granthartha. Now a question arises that what is Prakarana? Actually, Srimad-Bhagavatam is divided into 12 cantos, and then within each canto there are some prakaranas, or there are some topics, main topics, and then these prakaranas have many adhyayas or chapters in them. These prakaranas have many chapters or adhyayas in them, and then each chapter has the shlokas or verses. This is how Srimad-Bhagavatam is divided. And this division has been enumerated, has been described in the last chapters of the 12th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam, the 12th and the 13th chapters of the 12th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. The 12th and the 13th chapters of the 12th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam, which are the last chapters actually, in those chapters this type of categorization, this type of division has been described by Lord Vyasadeva. So, as for example, Srimad-Bhagavatam is the total aggregate form. Then comes each different individual canto. Then comes within each canto many different prakaranas. So how shall we differentiate prakaranas from the adhyayas or chapters? We need to differentiate. The difference between canto and chapter is easy to understand. But the difference between prakarana and adhyaya is quite complicated for those who are not aware of it. So prakarana means a general topic being described within each canto, and that general topic which is being described within each canto supports the meaning of the canto. You see, there are 7 types of meanings. Okay, let me just describe the whole 7 first, and then I will show the relation, and then I will describe what these 7 meanings are. So first meaning is Granthartha, or the meaning of the book, the meaning of the whole Srimad-Bhagavatam, aggregate, meaning of the book. Second meaning is known as Skandhartha, or meaning of a canto, individual canto, Skandhartha. Third meaning is known as Prakaranartha, or meaning of a general topic being described within each canto, Prakaranartha. Then comes Adhyayartha, meaning of each individual chapter falling within each canto. Then comes Shlokartha, meaning of each shloka, each verse. Then comes Charanartha or Padartha, meaning of each half of the shloka. Each half means meaning of each half division of the shloka, Padartha. And then comes Shabdartha, meaning of each word of the shloka. Meaning of each word of the shloka that is Shabdartha. And then the eighth type of meaning is known as Aksharartha, meaning of each syllable falling within each word of that shloka. But this syllable meaning, although it is present, but the acharyas have not took tension. They have not taken tension to derive the meaning of every individual syllable, because then it would be quite a bit of elaboration. So, but as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling here, that prati shabde prati akshare nana arthaka, not just every word has many meanings, but every syllable, letter, consonant, vowel, swara, vyanjana found within that every word also has many different meanings. So we can understand that there is eighth type of meaning also, and that meaning means the meaning of a syllable. So these are 8 types of meanings that can be taken from Srimad-Bhagavatam. So now we are differentiating the difference between prakarana and adhyaya. So prakarana, actually, first let us understand the meaning of each syllable in a particular shloka of Srimad-Bhagavatam should confirm, should corroborate, should substantiate the meaning of the particular word in which that syllable is falling within. The meaning of that particular word, shabda, shabdartha, aksharartha, should confirm shabdartha, should confirm with shabdartha. This is how our acharyas have explained how to interpret Srimad-Bhagavatam. Shabdartha should in turn confirm with charanartha or padartha, the half line of the shloka. The meaning of the word has to confirm with the meaning of the half line of the shloka. And then padartha or charanartha, which means meaning of the half line of a shloka, has to confirm with the meaning of the whole shloka. That is known as shlokartha. The meaning of the whole shloka has to confirm with the meaning of the whole adhyayartha. Now, we will try to understand what does confirmation mean here. Because Sanskrit language is such type of, that the acharyas have made this rule, so that the Bhagavatam cannot be misinterpreted. So, shlokartha has to confirm with the adhyayartha, or the meaning or definition derived from a chapter, the definition of the chapter itself. Adhyayartha or meaning of a chapter, primary meaning of a chapter, has to confirm with the prakaranartha, or the meaning of the general topic being described. Prakaranartha, or the meaning of the general topic being described, has to confirm with skandhartha, meaning of a canto. And meaning of canto should ultimately confirm with the meaning of the whole book, granthartha. So our acharyas have made a rule that any of any canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam, any general topic, prakarana of Srimad-Bhagavatam, any chapter of Srimad-Bhagavatam, any shloka of Srimad-Bhagavatam, any half shloka of Srimad-Bhagavatam, any word of Srimad-Bhagavatam, and any syllable falling within Srimad-Bhagavatam, if that meaning does not match the meaning of the aggregate book itself, granthartha, then that meaning, even though permitted, allowed by the grammatical rules, even though allowed by the Nyaya Shastra, the art of logic and argumentation, has to be rejected. It has to conform to the granthartha, to the aggregate. Just like yatha taror mula nishechanena tripyanti tatskanda bhujopashakha pranopaharachya yathendriyanam tathaiva sarvar hanamachyutejyaha. This is Srimad-Bhagavatam Siddhant. Although you may not apply this type of interpreting technique, this is called interpreting technique. Although you may not apply this type of interpreting technique to other Puranas, other Vedas, Shrutis, Smritis and other Shastras, for Srimad-Bhagavatam you must apply this technique because you are forced to apply. How? Because Srimad-Bhagavatam is of such a nature that it wants this type of interpretation and it rejects any other type of haphazard, any other type of disorganized interpretation which does not match or confirm with its previous or successive categories. shloka artha has to match with its previous categories and its successive categories. And these 7 categories we have just described. Because Srimad-Bhagavatam states that yatha taror mula nishechanena, it gives 2 examples that all living entities, why they should try to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by their senses. Sarvopadhir vinirvuktam tat paratvena nirmalam hrishikena hrishikesha sevaram bhaktirochyate. As this definition of bhakti has been given in the Narad Pancharatra by Narad Mahamuni himself. So, Sarvopadhi means hrishikena hrishikesha. By the senses, one has to satisfy the master of the senses, Hrishikesh. So, why all living entities in this world have to endeavor to satisfy the senses of the Lord? 2 reasons are given in Srimad-Bhagavatam. The first reason given is that just like different parts of a tree, like roots, fruits, stems, branches, twigs, leaves, fruits, etc., all these different parts of a tree, they have to work in such a way that the tree is satisfied, the aggregate is satisfied, the segregated parts, the individual limbs or organs or parts of a tree or of a human body have to work in such a way that the aggregate, means the whole human body, or the aggregate, which means the tree, has to become satisfied. So the water is given to the root and the food is given to the stomach or abdomen. But when the eatables are supplied to the abdomen, to the stomach, at that time the hands have to support this task of eating. If the hands and the mouth and the jaws and the teeth and the tongue and all these different other senses, they will not support the task of food intake, then also the aggregate body will not be nourished, will not become nourished. It will not become nourished. So in the same way, the segregated individual parts and limbs and organs of either a tree or a human body have to work in such a way that the whole body is satisfied. In the same way, Srimad-Bhagavatam's each part, each limb has to work in such a way, whether that limb be a syllable, whether that limb be the shloka, whether that limb be the chapter or the general topic being described or the canto, that meaning has to be expressed or produced in such a way that it conforms to the aggregate meaning, granthartha. Because this is the Bhagavad Siddhanta, yathataror mula nishechanena. This shloka, yathataror mula nishechanena, or any other shloka resembling the mood or idea expressed within this Bhagavatam shloka does not come in any other Purana. And that is why if other Puranas and other Shastras, if they are interpreted according to a different method, it might be legitimate. But Srimad-Bhagavatam cannot be interpreted in any different way. Srimad-Bhagavatam has to be interpreted according to the Siddhanta it has propounded, the Siddhanta of Yathataror Mula Nishechanena. So that is why the Acharyas have given this technique of defining. Now the question arises that Srimad-Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses. So if Srimad-Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses, there should be this number, this quantity, this numerical quantity of 18,000 should come out after the counting of each and every individual shloka of Srimad-Bhagavatam has been performed. But rather we see, and many scholars in India, they have also seen, and they have also practically examined, and anyone even now can test this fact. If they are not convinced by this, they can even now test this fact by examination, that Srimad-Bhagavatam does not contain 18,000 verses. Srimad-Bhagavatam, as we have now in its present form, does not contain 18,000 verses. But all the Puranas state, and even Srimad-Bhagavatam itself states, that it contains 18,000 verses. How this is possible? How is this possible? Srimad-Bhagavatam actually contains about 15,000 verses, all total. About 15,000. I don't know the specific number, but there are many scholars in India that have counted every shloka, that means every gadya and every padya. Every gadya and every padya, every prose and every verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam. And they have come and they have used not only one type of version, they have used many different types of versions, because sometimes what happens that in Srimad-Bhagavatam there are many different versions. And so there are some Path Vedas, because in the previous times we did not have the system of printing press. We did not have the system of printing press, and all the different copies of Srimad-Bhagavatam, they were copied by scribes by handwriting. So only handwritten scripts were available and the scribes used to copy them. So because we did not have printing press, so in many different parts of India and world, the scribes used to copy them, and naturally it happens that when you are copying, and it was the profession of these scribes to copy this every day, these books. So it naturally happens, human mistakes, by human tendency of Brahma, Pramad, Vipralipsa and Karna Pata, these four faults, it naturally occurs that sometimes you omit some words and sometimes you change some words. Not deliberately, but it happens. You are writing some particular shlok of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Vidyate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva samshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishware. But just yesterday you were copying Shvetashvatara Upanishad. And in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad also the same verse is coming, but in a little different way. Only the last part of the last line is amended in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. How? Vidyate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva samshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani drishta eva paravare. Only the last line is amended. So you are copying the same shloka yesterday from Shvetashvatara. So although you are looking at the Srimad-Bhagavatam right now, but still that shloka is roaming in your mind. As soon as you read this shloka, you remember that shloka, and by mistake you write the Shvetashvatara's version. This is how the Path Vedas have occurred. This is how the Path Vedas in Srimad-Bhagavatam, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur uses a different Path Veda sometimes, Sridhar Swami uses a quite different Path Veda, Jiva Goswami uses different, and Vallabhacharya uses altogether different Path Veda. How? Because of the difference in the copies. But as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described, these Path Vedas are not considered interpolations. Interpolations or prakshipta vibhag, prakshipta bhag, prakshipta ansha are a completely different thing. Because prakshipta anshas are those things, are those annexations, are those additions to the original text which have been done deliberately. And any addition which is done deliberately is done to change the meaning of the original verse. But when the scribes undeliberately change the shloka, because that shloka or some part of that shloka resembles some part of the other shloka that they were just copying, then it is said that 99.9% of the time the meaning will not be changed. Why? Drishta evatmanishware and drishta eva paravare, they mean the same. Because the scribes, if they undeliberately change the shloka, then the change that they will make will also come from an authorized source. This Drishta Eva Paravare, this shloka is from Shvetashvatara. That is also an authorized source. So even if that change is made, it does not make much difference. The ultimate meaning stays the same. But if deliberate change is made, that is known as interpolation or prakshipta. This is how it used to happen. So there are 15,000 verses now in Srimad-Bhagavatam, both Padyas and Gadyas. And many different Path Vedas, all the different versions, avrittis of Srimad-Bhagavatam which are available up to now, they have all been checked and they all come out to be only 15,000 or so. None of the versions come out to the full 18,000. The ultimate counting does not support the numerical order of 18,000. So now the question arises, how is then that Srimad-Bhagavatam has been described to be of 18,000 verses? So especially Jiva Goswami answers this question in his Krama Sandarbha commentary on Srimad-Bhagavatam. And he explains in a different way, but let me tell you the practical way how the modern day researchers and scholars have reached the conclusion that Srimad-Bhagavatam ultimately reaches the numerical order of 18,000. The modern day examiners, scholars and research fellows and philosophers, they have found out that if whole Srimad-Bhagavatam and all the shlokas, gadyas and padyas combined, if all the statements of Srimad-Bhagavatam are combined, and you add on every syllable of every statement of Srimad-Bhagavatam, just like any shloka which has Anushtupa Chanda, which is put into Anushtupa meter, will have only 32 syllables. 16 syllables in first line, 16 syllables in second line. And in Bhagavad Gita, most of the shlokas are found in Anushtupa Chanda. Srimad-Bhagavatam also, 50% of the shlokas are found in Anushtupa Chanda. Just like in Srimad-Bhagavad Gita, Vyavasayatmika buddhi redeha karanandana bahushaka yanantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. And there are most of the verses, 85% or 90% of the verses found in Srimad-Bhagavad Gita are Anushtupa Chanda verses. So Anushtupa Chanda has a special law that it should have 32 syllables in total, 16 in the first line, 16 in the second line. Now, if you add up all the syllables within each shloka, whether that shloka be of Anushtupa meter or any other meter, if you add up all the syllables found within every statement of Srimad-Bhagavatam, does not matter whether that statement is prose or verse. Every statement of Srimad-Bhagavatam, you add up all the syllables and then you divide those syllables by 32. Then Srimad-Bhagavatam comes out to be of 18,000 verses. Actually, when Vyasadeva writes that Srimad-Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses, although he is not clarified, he means to say that the most popular type of meter found within the Puranas, Pauranic Chanda. The Pauranic Chandas are different from the Vedic Chandas. And there is also a third type of, known as Kavya Chanda. 7 Chandas are found within Kavya, 7 Chandas are found within Puranas, and 7 Chandas are found within Vedas and Upanishads. So Vedas have 7 Chandas beginning from Gayatri Chanda, Trishtupa Chanda, etc. Puranas have Chandas like Anushtupa, Brihati, etc. And it is said in the Viniyoga mantra of Srimad-Bhagavatam, Om Srimad-Bhagavatakhyasya mantrasya Narada Rishihi. Narada Rishihi Brihati Chanda, Shri Krishna Paramatma Devata, Bhakti Shakti Brahma Bijaha Jnana Vairagya Kilakam. This is the Viniyog. This is the ritualistic mantra which is chanted before starting Srimad-Bhagavatam. So, this mantra describes that Srimad-Bhagavatam has been composed in Brihati Chanda there. But anyways, there are many Chandas in Srimad-Bhagavatam. So, Srimad-Bhagavatam, because it is a Purana, and Puranas have 7 Chandas, and then there are some Chandas which are especially used by the Kavis, by the poets, like Kalidas, like Srila Rupa Goswami, like Srila Jayadeva Goswami, and like Kavi Karanapur Goswami, and all the other different poets and Kavis of Sanskrit language. So, the Chandas or the meters which are used by the Kavis or the poets who are writing Kavyas or epics, they have used Kavya Chandas. So Rupa Goswami, you will see all our Goswamis and previous Acharyas who have written many different kinds of Kavyas or epics describing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, like Anand Vrindavan Champu by Kavi Karnapur, Gopal Champu by Jiva Goswami, Sangeet Madhav and Radha Rasudanidhi by Srila Prabodhanand Saraswati, Mukta Charitra, Hans Dut, Uddhav Sandesh, etc. Virat Madhav, Lalit Madhav, etc. All these books have been written within Kavya Chandas, following the Kavya Chanda. Like Shardul Vikreditam, Vasanta Tilakam, these are the Kavya Chandas. Because I am working on the translation of our Goswami books, I know all these details. These are the Kavya Chandas. So, if Srimad-Bhagavatam, all the syllables found within Srimad-Bhagavatam, no matter what Chanda they are, prose or verse, if they are all added and then they are divided by 32, then they come out to be 18,000 verses according to Anushtupa Chanda, because each Anushtupa Chanda verse has 32 syllables. So the total number of syllables divided by 32, that comes out to be 18,000. Vyasadeva is actually trying to say that Srimad-Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses according to Anushtupa Chanda. That is what he is trying to say here. This is what the researchers have found out. So this Srimad-Bhagavatam, the first type of meaning that has to be derived is known as skandharth, grantharth, or the meaning of the whole book aggregate.
You didn't give what Jiva Goswami said.
Okay, so Jiva Goswami, but what Jiva Goswami is mentioning, it has become quite irrelevant, not of so use. And that is why the researchers had to find another technique of finding out how. Me, myself, and His Grace Gopi Prandan Prabhu, we tried to find out what Jiva Goswami is actually trying to say. In the very beginning of Krama Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami is stating that Garbhange Bindu Mastakaha. That this verse comes in the very beginning of the Brihat Krama Sandarbha commentary on the 10th Canto, 1st chapter. So there Jiva Goswami says, there Jiva Goswami says that there is a special order of numbering the shlokas. And if the shlokas are numbered according to that order, then the sankhya, then the quantity will come out to be 18,000. And what is that special order? He says, not after the completion of the verse, but after the completion of the statement, if the number is put. But Jiva Goswami, he himself has not done it like that. Although he is saying in Krama Sandarbha that it should be done like that, but it had been the general tradition and custom of all the scribes up to now. It had been the general custom of all the scribes copying Srimad-Bhagavatam. It had been the general customs of even the acharyas who were commenting on Srimad-Bhagavatam, that they were numbering after the completion of the meterized shlokas. They were putting a number, not after the completion of the statement. But Jiva Goswami is saying that if you want to reach the numerical order of 18,000, then you should number after the completion of every statement. You should put number, not that after completion of every meterized verse. But then the question arises, I myself and His Grace Gopi Prandan Prabhu, we try to figure out that if number has to be put not at the end of the shloka, shlokanta, but rather at Vakya Samapti. Jiva Goswami is saying that the Vakya Samapti to Sankhya Anka Bindavah Deyaha. Vakya Samaptau to Sankhya Ankaha Deyaha. That at the end of a statement, numbers have to be put, but not at the end of a shloka. Na tu shlokanke deya, vakyante deya, vakya samaptau tu deya. But then, vakya, where does the vakya end? Where does the statement end? This only Lord Vyasadeva knows where the statement ends. Because sometimes we see that statements, they continue the same topic, because grammar says that if the same topic continues in 2 or 3 shlokas, then the same statement is being continued. But then there is another rule of the grammar which states that if pada falls within any particular type of sentence, then it should be considered that just where the avyaya pada falls, the previous statement ends. But if we try to end the statement wherever the avyaya pada falls, now don't ask me what is avyaya pada, then I will have to explain in the details of grammar. But if we consider that just when the avyaya pada falls, and then we consider that to be the completion of the statement, then the problem which arises is that supposing the avyaya pada falls earlier, but the same topic is continued, because it is said in the grammar that a statement should at least have one kriya pada and one main noun. One main noun and one main verb. But sometimes what happens in Srimad-Bhagavatam, that avyaya padas fall before the main noun or main verb comes. So there also you cannot say that the statement has completed, because there are 2 different definitions of the statements given by the grammaticians. So that is why only Jiva Goswami or Lord Vyasadeva would know where the statement ends, and that is why this technique has not been taken. Rather, another simplified technique has been taken by modern day research fellows and scholars to add up all the syllables and then divide by 32. That is. So now we will start by taking the Granthartha of Srimad-Bhagavatam. the very first type of meaning, the general meaning, the most basic meaning of Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is the root meaning, and which all other subsequent types of definitions and meanings of Srimad-Bhagavatam should support this main meaning. If they are not supporting this main meaning, if they are not supporting this main meaning of Srimad-Bhagavatam, then those meanings are allowed by the grammar rules or by the rules of the Nyaya Shastra. Nyaya Shastra means the art of argumentation and logic. Even if those meanings are proved by the different tactics and arguments and logical theories given in the Nyaya Shastra, and even if those definitions are allowed by the rules of grammar and the rules of dictionary, the dictionary meaning also allows that type of meaning to be taken there. But still, that meaning, if it does not match the main meaning, that's the meaning of the book, Granthartha, that meaning has to be rejected. So what is Granthartha? Granthartha is the aggregate meaning. What is that? That has been summarized. Actually, these meanings, only the meaning of the skandha has been given in Srimad-Bhagavatam itself. All the other 6 types of meanings the acharyas have derived. Granthartha has not been given in Srimad-Bhagavatam. Skandartha has been given. Skandartha means the meaning of a canto. Only Skandartha has been given. Granthartha has not been given. And then Prakaranartha also has not been given in Srimad-Bhagavatam. But Lord Vyasadeva hints that there are 100 Prakaranas in total. So then it means there has to be 100 general topics being described in Srimad-Bhagavatam. So the acharyas have found out what are those 100 topics. But Bhagavatam does not mention what are those 100 topics. Then each adhyaya, each chapter has a different subtopic that is known as adhyayartha. So yes, adhyayartha and skandartha, these 2 types of meaning are given by Lord Vyasadeva. At the end of every adhyaya or chapter, Lord Vyasadeva says, Iti Srimad-Bhagavate Mahapurane Paramhansyam Sanhitayam Sutta Shaunaka Samvade Prathamodhyaya. So adhyayartha, but sometimes the adhyayartha is so general that the same adhyayartha extends up to 5 adhyayas. 5 adhyayas or 5 chapters have the same title at end. But adhyayartha should be specific meaning for each different adhyaya. So Vyasadeva has given adhyayartha, but he has not given specific meaning for each different chapter sometimes. So the acharyas have also worked on adhyayartha part. Then shlokartha, shabdartha, and all these definitions acharyas have given in their commentaries, in their bhashyas, in their tikas, in their vyakhyas. What each shloka means, what each word of the shloka means, all this the acharyas have tried to explain in their commentaries. So primarily speaking, only the skandhartha or the meaning of the canto has been given by Vyasadeva in Srimad-Bhagavatam. There are 12 cantos. There are 12 cantos in Srimad-Bhagavatam, and in those 12 cantos, there are 10 main themes being described, skandhartha. So now first let us look at the granthartha, the meaning of the main book. So the meaning of the main book, as we are describing, Vyasadeva has not given the meaning of the main book. So the meaning of the main book has been given by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And especially Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad, when he writes this shloka, Aradhya, actually according to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, this shloka has been written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. But if we look at the Chaitanya Mat Manjusha commentary written by Srinath Chakravarti Pad, who is different from Vishwanath Chakravarti, then he has originally written this shloka. Vishwanath has also quoted this shloka, but originally this shloka has been written by Srinath Chakravarti Pad in his commentary on Bhagavatam, especially 10th canto, known as Chaitanya Mat Manjusha Tika. So Srinath Chakravarti Pad explains, Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayah Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Brajavadhu Vargena Ya Kalpita Srimad-Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Tatrandaro na paraha. This is the meaning given by Srinath Chakravarti Pal. Then there is second meaning, Granthartha. There is second meaning of Granthartha definition given by Srila Jiva Goswami in his very beginning of Bhagavata Sandarbha. But the Granthartha has been given in three ways. Srinath Chakravarti's meaning is the most easy meaning, or most easier meaning to digest or comprehend.
When you say Chakravarti, this is
Vishwanath.
No, this is Srinath Chakravarti.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, Srinath Chakravarti.
He appeared before, earlier.
Yes, yes.
But Adya Bhagwan, that's from Vishwanath.
No.
Originally it is from Srinath Chakravarti. Then Vishwanath has also quoted this in his writings. So, but because Vishwanath Chakravarti is the most popular Acharya, this shloka usually becomes accredited to him. Yes. So, Srinath Chakravarti, what the definition he is giving of Srimad-Bhagavatam, Granthartha, is the most comprehensible type of definition. Very easy to comprehend. Then second definition is given by Srila Jiva Goswami Pad in the beginning of his Bhagavata Sandarbha, Tattva Sandarbha. There he says, Yasya brahmeti sangyam kvachidapi nigame yati chinmatra satta pyamsho yasyam shakaihai svair vibhavati vashayanneva mayam pumanscha ekam yasyaiva rupam vilasati parama vyomni narayanakyam sa Shri Krishna vidhattam swayamiha bhagavan prema tatpada bhajam. Yasya brahmeti sangyam kvachidapi nigame yati chinmatra satta. This is the second type of meaning given of the aggregate book Granthartha given by Srila Jiva Goswami. And Lord Vyasadeva hints at this meaning, although he is not very clearly stating that this is the aggregate meaning of Srimad-Bhagavatam, but he hints at this meaning in the very beginning of the 7th chapter of the 1st canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. When Vyasadeva is put into his divine trance of devotional service, then he says, Bhakti yogena manasi samyak pranihite male apashyat purusham purnam mayam chatadapashrayam yaya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunaatmakam paropi manute nartham tatkritam chabhipadyate yasyam vaishruyamanayam krishne paramapurushe bhaktirutpadyate pumsah shokamoha bhayapaha. In these three shlokas, Lord Vyasadeva summarizes the whole Siddhanta of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Then, there is another type of Granthartha given in another place in Srimad-Bhagavatam. That is the 2nd canto, when Brahma and Narada have their mutual conversation, and when Brahma is describing the Chatushloki Srimad-Bhagavatam to Narada. So that most original form of Srimad-Bhagavatam, from which all the other verses of Srimad-Bhagavatam have emanated. You see, Srimad-Bhagavatam is completely eternal, without any beginning, without any end. It is Nitya and Shashwat. But this Srimad-Bhagavatam, although it is Nitya and Shashwata, it makes its appearance and it makes its disappearance from time to time, periodically, intermittently, occasionally. Yes, just like sun, sometimes makes its avirbhav and sometimes makes its tirobhav. What do we mean by avirbhav and tirobhav? Sometimes sun manifests, sometimes sun unmanifests, becomes unmanifest. Just like at the time of sunrise in the morning, Suryodaya Kal, sun manifests. And at the time of Suryasta or sunset, the sun becomes again unmanifest or it disappears. But still the sun does not lose its existence, it does not become destroyed, nor does it end, nor does it cease to exist. And at the time of sunrise, it cannot be said that the sun starts its existence or that sun ceases its existence. No, its existence is perpetual. Only its manifestation and unmanifestation, Avirbhava and Tirobhava takes place. In the same way, Srimad-Bhagavatam is completely eternal. All the 18,000 shlokas of Srimad-Bhagavatam are present even before Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj meet. This is what many people argue, that Srimad-Bhagavatam, how can it be considered to be eternal? Because Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami have met at the end of Dwapar Yuga. So before Dwapar Yuga, Srimad-Bhagavatam did not exist because the conversation had not taken place. No, Srila Jiva Goswami refutes this point in the very beginning of his Tattva Sandarbha, and he says that if Srimad-Bhagavatam and all the 18,000 shlokas of Srimad-Bhagavatam are considered to be non-eternal, temporal, not perpetual, then that verse of Padma Purana, wherein Ambarisha is being told by his spiritual master Gautam Muni that Ambarisha Shuka Proktam Nityam Bhagavatam Shrinu Pathaswa Swamukhenapi Yadi Chasi Bhavakshayam. Ambarisha Shuka Proktam. Oh Ambarisha, Gautam Muni is telling that if you want liberation and if you want to destroy this entanglement in this material world, if you want to sever this entanglement in this material world, Bhavakshayam, then you must daily listen to Srimad-Bhagavatam. Either by yourself you should recite Srimad-Bhagavatam, or you should hear it from someone, or you should read it silently. But either of the three ways you should try to study Srimad-Bhagavatam, by hearing it from some authorized source, or by reciting it loudly, audibly, or by silently studying it. And then at that time Ambarisha, when he is being told by Gautam Muni gives one adjective to qualify the main noun in the shloka. The main noun in that shloka is Bhagavatam. Ambarisha Shuka Proktam Nityam Bhagavatam Srimad. So there are two adjectives given to qualify Srimad-Bhagavatam. This Srimad-Bhagavatam is Nitya, Nityam Bhagavatam. What type of Srimad-Bhagavatam? Eternal Srimad-Bhagavatam, Nitya Srimad-Bhagavatam. That Bhagavatam which is eternal, that does not have beginning or end. And Shuka Proktam, this Bhagavatam which is recited by Shukdev Goswami. And when this conversation is taking place between Gautam Muni and Ambarish Maharaj, in the very beginning of Satya Yuga, even before Lord Ramchandra appeared, in the same dynasty, royal Sun dynasty, Suryavanshi Rajas, the Sun dynasty, especially ruling the kingdom of Ayodhya. And through Ayodhya, the whole Sun dynasty was ruling the whole world at that time. So Ambarish is the forefather of Lord Ramachandra, he is the ancestor. So Ambarish is being told in Satya Yuga by Gautam Muni that Bhagavatam which has been recited by Shukdev Goswami. That means that Srimad-Bhagavatam, although is physically enacted on a physical plane at the end of Dwapara, but these conversations are eternal, they are recorded from beforehand. Just like a drama is made in a written way, a drama is made in beforehand, but lot of time after that the drama has been compiled, much time after that the drama has been compiled, the drama is actually enacted on a physical plane by the dramatist personae and by the different types of actors and actresses taking part in that drama or play. In the same way, Srimad-Bhagavatam is there from time without beginning, but it just becomes physically enacted at some particular time, that means at the end of Dwapar, when Shuka and Parikshita meet. So, this is Srimad-Bhagavatam which has been considered eternal. This Srimad-Bhagavatam actually emanates from Chaturshloki or the 4 shlokas. These 4 shlokas of Srimad-Bhagavatam were existing even before Vyasadeva compiled the whole Srimad-Bhagavatam, and Vyasadeva has not manufactured Bhagavatam. Even if someone says that Vyasadeva manufactured Bhagavatam and the Bhagavatam was not present before Vyasadeva, then because Vyasadeva is Lord Narayana himself and Parashar Muni is corroborating this fact in Vishnu Puran, the Parashar Muni, he is the father of Vyasadeva, he is telling to his disciple Maitreya Muni that Krishna Dvaipayanam Vidhi Sakshat Narayanam Prabhum. O Maitreya, do not consider by mistake that Vyasadeva is your classmate, is your colleague. Because Parashar is the spiritual master for both Maitreya and Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is actually the father of, Vyasadeva is actually the son of Parashar, family relation, hereditary relation, blood relation. But Maitreya, although not having blood relation, Maitreya is also disciple of Vyasadeva, and Maitreya is also disciple of Parashar, and Vyasadeva is also disciple of Parashar. So both are god brothers in one sense. Both are classmates, peers, colleagues, friends from childhood. So Parashar is just warning. The father himself is illuminating the glories of his son. Not because Vyasadeva is his son, but because Vyasadeva is Lord Narayana himself. That is why Parashar is glorifying Vyasadeva as, O Maitreya, do not be mistaken that he is an ordinary living entity like you. Rather, he is Sakshat Narayana, he is directly Lord Narayana. The other Vyasadevas of other yugas and other kalpas are not directly Lord Narayana. They are Jiva Shakti Avesh, avatar of Narayana. But this Vyasadeva who has appeared when Shri Krishna, the Swayam Bhagavan of Vrindavan, is appearing, and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is also Swayam Bhagavan, is about to appear, in this yuga, in this millennium, the Veda Vyasa which appears is Bhagavat Shakti Avesh avatar. It is directly Lord Narayana. So it is said that Krishna Dvaipayanam Vidhi Sakshat Narayanam Prabhum. This my son Krishna Dvaipayan Vedyas is directly Lord Narayana. He is Sakshat. He is not Jiva Shakti Avesh, he is Bhagavat Shakti Avesh. Just like Lord Kapil Dev, he is in the same category. So even if we consider that Vyasadeva manufactured Srimad-Bhagavatam at a particular point of time, still, because it has been created by the Lord himself, it is considered apaurushaya, not like any man-made or human-made composition. It is considered to be divine composition. But actually even that is not the fact. Vyasadeva has just put Srimad-Bhagavatam onto a written form. Prayena alpa yushaha sabya kalavasmin yuge janaha mandaha sumanda matayo mandbhagya hipadrutaha. Because in the previous yugas, Satya, Treta and Dwapar, Vedas, Shrutis, Smritis and Puranas, they were being heard and remembered by the oral receptory process, Shrauta Parampara. Because the disciples in these previous eras, yugas, had such a, the disciples and preceptors both, due to the influence of those eras and those times, they had such a powerful memory that they could remember every shloka, every word, every syllable of Shastra once they heard it. But in Kali Yuga, this memory will be shortened, as it is, and it has already been shortened. And that is why Vyasadeva thought that since no one could remember the Veda, let me put them, all the Vedas and Puranas, into a written form. So Vyasadeva is actually not the creator or manufacturer of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Srimad-Bhagavatam, which was eternally existing even prior to Vyasadeva's appearance in a oral form, has been just put into a written form. So this Srimad-Bhagavatam, at the beginning of creation, at the beginning of Brahma's life, when Brahma is born, this Srimad-Bhagavatam emanates from the Chaturshloki, from the four original main shlokas. But that does not mean that the other shlokas of Bhagavatam have been created or manufactured at a particular point of time. No, they just manifest and unmanifest within the Chaturshloki. They are never created, nor they are ever destroyed. They are always there. They just manifest and unmanifest. So in this Chaturshloki Srimad-Bhagavatam, starting from Ahameva samevagre nanyad yad savasat param paschadham yade taccha yo vashishyeta sosmyaham Rite artham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyad atmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamaha etavadeva jigyasyam tattva jigyasunatmanah anvaya vyatirekabhyam yatsyat sarvatra sarvada yatha mahaki bhutani bhuteshu chalacheshvanu pravishhtanya pravishtani tatha teshu nateshvaham. These are the four shlokas of Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. So these four shlokas of Chaturshloki Bhagavatam mention Sambandh, Abhidhe and Prayojan. Then that part of Srimad-Bhagavatam, 7th chapter of the 1st canto, when Vyasadeva is in his samadhi and he realizes all these tattvas, all these transcendental truths, Bhakti yoge namanasi samyak pranihite male apaschat purusham purnam mayam chatadapashrayam yaya sammohito jivaha. That part of Srimad-Bhagavatam has been also considered to be describing Sambandh, Abhidhe and Prayojan all in one paragraph. Sambandh, Abhidhe and Prayojan all in one paragraph in consecutive verses. They have been summarized. The whole Sambandh, whole Abhidheya and whole Prayojan Tattva. And actually, according to Jiva Goswami, this part of Srimad-Bhagavatam, 7th canto beginning, is more important even than the Chatushloki. Because Bhakti Yogena Manasi, starting from that verse, which comes in the beginning of 7th chapter, Vyasadeva mentions Sambandh, Abhidheya and Prayojan in such a way that it cannot be misinterpreted by the Mayavadis. But the Chatushloki Bhagavatam is found sometimes misinterpreted by the Mayavadis, and that is why in Tattva Sandarbha, when Jiva Goswami has started to decide what is the actual Sambandh Gyan that the Bhagavat propounds, what is the actual Abhidheya Tattva which Bhagavat propounds, and what is actually this Prayojana Tattva that Bhagavat propounds, at that time Vyasadeva has, instead of using the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, has used Jiva Goswami, instead of using Chatushloki Bhagavatam, has found this part of Srimad Bhagavatam, the early 7th canto, the beginning of 7th canto to be more important. And that is how he has destroyed, literally, utterly he has destroyed and he has shown the discrepancies in the theories of Adi Shankaracharya and in the theories of all the other Vaishnavacharyas also, by only using these 4 or 5 verses coming in Vyasadeva's Samadhi portion of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, these 2 portions of Srimad Bhagavatam explain Sambandh, Abhidheya and Prayojan. But there, Vyasadeva does not describe those philosophical conclusions as Sambandh, Abhidheya and Prayojan. So they remain unclarified there. But in the verses Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesh Tanayah, and in the verse by Jiva Goswami in the beginning of his Bhagavata Sandarbha, deciding what is the real import of Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasya Brahmeti Sangyam Kvachidapi Nigamaya Janmatra Satta, Jiva Goswami and Srinath Chakravarti, following the footsteps of Mahaprabhu, have very clearly ascertained and they have named these truths boldly as Sambandh, Abhidheya and Prayojan, and they say that these truths are coming from Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sambandh, Abhidheya and Prayojan have been ascertained in a very clear way, in a very unhesitating way, by both Jiva Goswami and Srinath Chakravarti, and they have stated the Sambandh, Abhidheya, Prayojan in a very concise way in these 2 shlokas. So Yasya Brahmeti Sangyam Kvachidapi Nigame Yati Chanmatra Sattapyamsho Yasyam Shakaihai Svair Vibhavati Vashayanneva Mayam Pumangscha Ekam Yasyaiva Rupam Virasati Parama Vyomni Narayanakyam. These 3 lines written by Jiva Goswami describe Sambandh Tattva. Parama Vyomni Narayanakyam Sa Shri Krishna Vidhattam Swayamiva Bhagavan Prema Tatpada Bhajam. Tatpada Bhajam describes Abhidheya, Sadhan Bhakti. Abhidheya means Sadhan Bhakti. Tatpada Bhajam describes Abhidheya Tattva Sadhan Bhakti. And Sa Shri Krishna Vidatvam Swayamiha Prema. Prema describes Prayojan Tattva. So Sadhan, Abhidheya and Sambandha, all Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojan, all 3 have been described in that shloka by Jiva Goswami very clearly. And then in the verse Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajeshatayah Taddama Vrindavanam, Sambandha Tattva has been described. Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Ya Kalpita, Sadhan Bhakti or Abhidheya Tattva has been described. Srimad-Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam, Pramana Tattva has been described. And Prema Pumartho Mahan, Prayojana Tattva has been described. Sambandha Tattva, Abhidheya Tattva, Prayojan Tattva and Pramana Tattva. All 4. That means Anubandha Chatushtai, according to the literal technical term given by Jiva Goswami in his Tattva Sandarbha, means Anubandha Chatushtai. Not only Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojan, but also Pramana Tattva at the same time. All the 4 are being described. That is called Anubandha Chatushtai. The whole quadruple is being described here in this shloka by Srinath Chakravarti Pal. So, this is the Granthartha of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the Granthartha of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then comes the Skandhartha. Yes. Let us do some little kirtan now, and then we will describe about the Skandhartha and all the different types of meanings, and then we will comments on the meaning of the Garbha-stuti prayers. Because unless we understand how many different types of meanings have been taken from Srimad-Bhagavatam, we will not be able to fully relish the topic of our discussion. Yes. Yes.
for Bhaktivinoda Thakur
Yes.
talks about the age of the Bhagavatam being irrelevant, even if we were to accept what some say that Gopadev, around that time, I guess it was 1200 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because the potency of the Bhagavatam, no matter what age you attribute to it,
Yes.
is there.
Oh yes.
So therefore, he kind of disregards the discussion about the age of the Srimad-Bhagavatam when it actually manifests. Because he's saying that...
yes. Actually, it is completely eternal. It is without beginning and without end. So yes, our acharyas have confirmed that fact also.
एक रसिक भजन
Rasik bhajan. Okay.
after the class we interval
At 9 o'clock we will have.
novel yes and all
We started at 6:45.
it's real entertainment
Jai
ना करे दीन संसार माझे तुला पदचार दीन संसार माझे तुला पदचार भाविया देखिनो मन गति नाही भाविया देखिनो मन गति नाही दीन संसार माझे तुला पदचार भाविया देखिनो मन गति नाही दीन संसार माझे तुला पदचार भाविया देखिनो मन गति नाही Yeah. घुचाओ अंधकार तुम्हें तो दयाला प्रभु चाहे प्रभार नारायण हृदय घुचाओ अंधकार हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे बोलो श्रीमद्भागवतम की श्रीमद्भागवतम कथा महामहोत्सव की So we will again resume our discussion. So as we were describing the sevenfold meanings of Srimad-Bhagavatam, the Granthartha or the meaning of the aggregate book has already been described. The meaning of the aggregate book is Sambandh, Abhidheya and Prayojana, exactly in the same way that our Goswami Padas, especially Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Srinath Chakravarti have defined, corroborating the Bhakti Yogena Manasi verses and the Chatushloki Bhagavatam verses. Then comes. So let me explain. This Prayojana Tattva is Prema Bhakti of Srimad-Bhagavatam. The Abhidheya Tattva is Vishuddha Sadhana Bhakti, pure Sadhana Bhakti, uncovered by Jnana Karma Yoga, dry Vairagya, dry renunciation, etc. And without any other desire of liberation and sense enjoyment. That is the Sadhana Bhakti, described as Abhidheya Tattva in Srimad-Bhagavatam.
Prema Bhakti has been described as the Prayojana Tattva in Srimad-Bhagavatam, and Sambandha is described as Krishna Dasya. और जीवित स्वरूप है कृष्ण नित्य दास, कृष्ण तटस्था शक्ति भेदा भेद प्रकाश, also आराध्य भगवान ब्रजेश तनयः तद्धाम वृंदावनम. That has been described as the Sambandha Tattva. So this is the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the aggregate meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now we will proceed towards this Skandhartha, because unless and until we do not understand the meaning of the 10th canto, we will not be able to fully appreciate the Garbha-stuti prayers. Unless and until we become aware of the meaning of the 10th canto, what is the meaning of the canto itself, Skandhartha, we will not be able to appreciate it fully. But the meaning of the 10th canto cannot be known without knowing the meanings of the previous cantos. And this is the reason why Acharyas of our Sampradaya, especially Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of our International Society for Krishna Consciousness, these Acharyas especially have focused and have stressed that a person should not immediately, in an unauthorized way, a person should not jump onto the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, trespassing the other 9 cantos. This is the reason. What's the reason? Because in Srimad Bhagavatam there are 10 main themes being described. And regarding the Skandhartha, Srimad Bhagavatam is very clear. Srimad Bhagavatam is very clear regarding the Skandhartha. Lord Vyasadeva very clearly mentions what is the Skandhartha, what is the meaning of every individual canto in the 10th chapter, which is the last chapter of the 2nd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the very first verses, he describes that there are 10 themes which are described in this Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana. Normally, in other Puranas, only 5 themes have been described. But in Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana, 10 themes have been described. So, what are these 10 themes? Lord Vyasadeva, actually Shukadeva Goswami, is telling this to Parikshit Maharaj. Atra sarva visargascha sthanam poshanamutayah manvantare shanu katha nirodho muktirashrayah. Atra means in this Srimad Bhagavatam. Herein, in this Srimad Bhagavatam, Sarga. The first theme being described is Sarga.
English.
That, let me tell afterwards. First, just know the sequence. First thing being described is Sarga. Second theme being described, theme, not thing, theme. Second theme being described is Visarga. Third theme being described is Sthanam. Sthanam. Because you should be aware, I'm telling the audience that you all should be aware of the original Sanskrit terminologies, because that they will play a great role in establishing the controversial position of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The controversial position of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the third theme being described is Sthanam. Fourth theme being described is Poshanam. Poshanam. These are the subjects, these are the themes or meanings of every individual canto, Skandhartha. Poshanam. Fifth theme being described is Utaya. Sthanam, Poshanam, Utaya. Utaya is the fifth theme being described. Manvantara is the sixth theme being described. Manvantara. Ishanu Katha. Manvantara is the sixth theme. Ishanu Katha is the seventh theme being described. Ishanu Katha. Nirodha is the eighth theme being described. Nirodha. Muktihi is the ninth theme being described. And Ashraya theme being described in Srimad-Bhagavatam. Nirodho Muktir Ashraya. Now what do they mean? The meaning is also different according to different acharya. The meaning is also taken out in a different way. But let us just first of all use the popular meaning of these things. Sarga means primary creation. Primary creation is what Sarga is translated as in English, as what Srila Prabhupada has translated. Sarga means primary creation. Visarga means secondary creation. So Visarga means secondary creation. Sthanam. Place is the literal definition according to Sanskrit grammar and dictionary, but here the acharyas have taken the meaning of sthanam as the status quo. How you pronounce it?
Wow.
Quo. Okay. Q-U-O.
Status quo.
Status quo.
Status quo.
Yeah. So status quo is the third theme being described. That is sthanam. Fourth theme being described is poshanam. Poshanam means the maintenance of the living entity is done by the Lord by His grace and compassion. That is poshanam. Sthanam, poshanam, udayah. Poshanam has also been described as the creation of the fourth order. Srila Prabhupada names it the creation of the fourth order, poshanam. Udayah means the creative impetus. That's the fifth theme being described. Sarga, Visargascha, Sthana, Poshanam, Udayah. Manvantara is the sixth theme, which means the prescribed duties for the mankind. That is how Srila Prabhupada has translated. Udayah. Udayah means the creative impetus. Manvantara is translated by Srila Prabhupada as the prescribed duties for the mankind. Manvantara. Ishanu Katha. Ishanu Katha has been translated as, that is the seventh theme. Ishanu Katha has been translated as the science of God. Seventh theme, Ishanu Katha. The science of God. Nirodha has been translated by Srila Prabhupada as the winding up of the cosmic creation. The winding up of the cosmic creation. Nirodha. Muktihi has been translated as, that is the ninth theme, has been translated as the liberation. Muktihi. And the 10th topic described, Ashraya. Ashraya is the 10th topic being described, is translated as the summum bonum, which is the Latin word, which means the chief or the best type of good or auspiciousness. This is the literal meaning of the word summum bonum according to dictionary, Oxford Standard English Dictionary. Summum bonum means the chief or the best good, best type of auspiciousness, summum bonum, or the most exalted auspiciousness, or good personified, that is Ashraya Tattva. So, now let us see how Srila Prabhupada puts it. Srila Prabhupada has considered first canto to be describing Sarga, primary creation. Second canto describing Visarga, secondary creation. Third canto as describing Sthanam, the status quo. Fourth canto describing Poshanam, the creation of the fourth order. Fifth canto describing Udayah, the creative impetus. Sixth canto describing Manvantara, the prescribed duties for the mankind. Seventh canto describing Ishanu Katha, the science of God. Eighth canto describing Nirodha, winding up of the cosmic manifestation. Ninth canto as Mukti, liberation. 10th canto Ashraya Samam Bonam. 11th canto Prabhupada has named as the general history, Samanya Itihas, as we say in Sanskrit, general history, Samanya Itihas, and 12th canto as the age of deterioration. The age of deterioration. Now we can see why Srila Prabhupada has named the 12th, because the first 10 themes are described in Srimad-Bhagavatam. But the remaining 2 themes that Srila Prabhupada has allotted to 11th and 12th cantos are not being described in Bhagavatam. Only the 10 themes have been described in Srimad-Bhagavatam. The age of deterioration and the age of deterioration and the general history have not been described in Srimad-Bhagavatam by Vyasdev. That's what Srila Prabhupada has put those names for 11th and 12th cantos. So, the age of deterioration is describing 12th canto, because in 12th canto primarily the symptoms of Kali Yuga have been described, and Kali Yuga is considered to be the age of deterioration where everything deteriorates, where Smarana Shakti or the memorizing power also deteriorates, where the lifespan, Ayu deteriorates, where the bodily vigor deteriorates, where everything deteriorates. Prayana alpayusha sabhya kalavasim yage janaha mandaha sumanda mutayo mandabhagya hivatrataha. In the age of coral, in the iron age, in the age of coral, everything deteriorates. Even the size of the human beings and all the other species like plants, aquatics, etc., herbivores, carnivores, beasts, birds, etc., the size of all the living beings and entities and their gross bodies also decreases. This is known as the age of deterioration, where everything gradually starts deteriorating. Yes, very nice. Pushkar Prabhu has substantiated our claim. So, he is actually walking encyclopedia, mobile encyclopedia of Shastric shlokas. So, now, general history is the 11th canto, because 11th canto describes the consequence of the Yadu dynasty. If you will put concentration, 11th canto describes the consequence. Consequence means the conclusion of the Yadu dynasty. How does Yadu dynasty conclude? And that is why it has been put into general history category, that it describes the history, how Yadu dynasty gradually winds up itself and how all the Yadavas along with Sri Krishna, they gradually disappear. So that is part of history, so he has named the 11th canto as the general history. Now, the meaning of these 10 terminologies have been explained in Srimad-Bhagavatam itself also. Just immediately after the verse, Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Utayah Manavantare Shanu Katha Nirodho Mukti Rashraya. Just immediately after this verse, this is the first verse of the 10th chapter of the second canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Just immediately after this verse comes another verse. And in the another verse, the system or the process of organizing Srimad-Bhagavatam has been described. So, it is said by Sri Shukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham Navanamiha Lakshanam Varnayanti Mahatmanah Shrutenarthena Chanjasa. Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham. What is the actual theme of Srimad-Bhagavatam? These are the 10 themes, but what is the actual theme of Srimad? What is the main theme? Even among these 10 themes, what is the supermost theme? Ashraya, the 10th theme, the Dashama Tattva, or the 10th theme, the last theme, Ashraya Tattva, the Samam Bonam, that's the most important theme. Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham Navanami Halakshanam. And just in order to explain, actually the goal of Srimad-Bhagavatam is not Sarga, Visarga, Uti, Manvantar, etc. The goal of Srimad-Bhagavatam is not the 9 previous themes. The goal of Srimad-Bhagavatam is to rather explain the 10th and the last and the most important theme, Ashraya Tattva, the Samabonam. Right? This is what Shukdev Goswami says directly. The ultimate objective of Srimad-Bhagavatam is to explain the last theme. But the last theme cannot be explained all by its own.
And that is why, in order to make the last theme digestible to the minds of the readers, comprehensible, understandable, the other 9 previous sub-themes have to be described. Sarga, Visarga, etc. have to be described in order to understand the Ashraya Tattva completely, fully, in a most perfect way. Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham Navanamiha Lakshanam. Just in order to clarify, Vishuddhi means Vishuddhyartham. Just in order to clarify the meaning of the 10th theme, Ashraya Tattva, the other 9 have been described. Navanamiha Lakshanam Varnayam Mahatmanah Shrute Narthena Chanjasa. And these 10 themes are sometimes directly mentioned by the great sages and personalities and devotees. Sometimes they are realized by the sages and devotees, and sometimes they are inferred by taking the Vedic evidence. This is how Srila Prabhupada has translated this verse in the 2nd canto. So these 10 themes have been described, but the ultimate goal is to explain the 10th theme. 10th theme is the real objective. Ashraya Tattva, to describe, to explain Ashraya Tattva is the real objective, real goal, real aim of Srimad-Bhagavatam. That's the real target of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Vastavik Prayojan. Now the whole controversy starts. And feud starts, a literal feud and quarrel starts between the Acharyas. Let us first explain these 10 themes in a more clarified way. We have just translated these themes into English in short titles. But let us explain them in a more detailed way first, and then let us go to Acharya's different types of interpretations. Bhuta matrendriyadhiyam janma sarga udahritah brahmano gunavaishamyad visargo paurushah smritah. Sarga has been described in the first line. The first theme, Sarga, has been described in the first line. What is Sarga? What is the primary creation? Bhuta matrendriya dhyam janma sarga udahrita. The creation by Karano Dakshai Mahavishnu, who is the first Purushavatar, and who is considered lying down in the causal ocean, Karan Samudra, which is also known as Virja Nadi, which is also known as marginal world, Tatastha Jagat. In that marginal world, causal ocean, where Karanodakshai, the first Purushavatar, also known as Mahavishnu, wherein he is lying down, taking the shelter of Yogamaya potency, he is always immersed in his Yoga Nidra, his transcendental sleep, his transcendental slumber. Yes, his transcendental divine slumber. So, that Karanodakshai Vishnu, when he throws his Kala Shakti, his time energy, unto the unmanifest form of material nature, which is also known as Asat or Sukshma Mool Avyakta Prakriti, the most original form of material nature, which is also known as Sukshma Prakriti, Moola Prakriti or Avyakta Prakriti. It is also known as Asat. These are different synonyms I am giving, because in different parts of the Shastras, the same thing has been described in different terminologies. So this Moola Prakriti is the cause for both Pradhan and Mahatattva. Starting from Pradhan, the manifest form starts. Pradhan and Mahatattva are the manifest forms of Moola Prakriti, whereas Moola Prakriti in its original form is unmanifest. That is why Moola Prakriti has been considered Avyakta, unmanifest. Pradhan and Mahatattva has been considered Vyakta. So Pradhan and Mahatattva have been considered Sat, because they are grossly manifest. And Moola Prakriti, although exists, but it is unmanifest and subtle, it has been considered Asat. Existing, but you cannot realize its existence. So it is called Asat. So when Karanodakshai Mahavishnu, he throws his time energy, Kala Shakti, in the form of a divine hell, which is full of transcendental sperms in the form of living entities. And this is mentioned in the very beginning of Brahma Samhita. Remember? Linga Yonyatmika Jata Ima Maheshwari Prajaha Shaktiman Purushah Soyam Linga Rupi Maheshwarah Tasminnavira Bhullinge Mahavishnur Jagatpatihi Mayaya Arama Manasya Navyogastaya Saha Atmana Ramaya Reme Tyakta Kalam Sisrikshaya. Sisrikshaya, by the desire, by his own desire, self-desire, by his independent desire, Karanadakshay Mahavishnu Tyakta Kalam, he threw the time energy in the form of a divine halo consisting of different living entities unto the womb of material nature, and that's how material nature became impregnated. First he threw this divine halo or time energy unto his transcendental consort Rama Lakshmi Devi, and then Lakshmi Devi carried on this glance of Mahavishnu and threw it again unto material nature, Bhagavati Durga, Goddess Durga. And that's how Goddess Durga has become impregnated here by Mahavishnu. Not in a direct way, in an indirect way. This is known as Sarga. And then what happens? Bhutamatrendriya Dhyam Janma Sarga Udahmita. 5 elements, Panch Mahabhut. 5 gross elements are created. Sky means ether, Akash Tattva. Vayu Tattva, air, principle. Agni Tattva, fire. Jala Tattva, water, and Prithvi Tattva, land, earth. These 5 elements are created. Now, what are these 5 elements which are created? The 8-fold coverings, the 8 or 7-fold, sometimes it is said 7-fold, sometimes 8-fold. So 8-fold coverings of this material universe. And how many material universes are there in this material world? Innumerable. There are innumerable material universes in this material world. They are all coming from the pores of Mahavishnu when he exhales. Yasyaika nishvasita kala vatha valambya jivanti loba vilaja jagadandanaatha Vishnur mahan saihayasya kala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. This shloka of Brahma Samhita is describing Pratham Purusha Avatar, the first Purush incarnation, Karanadakshay Mahavishnu. So when Mahavishnu exhales, all the pores come out. So when all these pores come out, these pores are without covering. So these pores are without covering. These universes are without covering. So what happens? Mahavishnu then manifests the aggregate form of Pancha Mahabhuta, the 5 gross material elements, and the aggregate form of 3 subtle elements, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And the aggregate form of these 8, 3 subtle and 5 gross elements, the aggregate forms of these 8 material elements, they are the one who cover every material universe, not just this one. So as soon as you will try to cross Brahmaji's Satyaloka and you will try to go upward, you will find the first layer of Prithvi, first layer of land, second layer of water, third layer of fire, fourth layer of air, fifth layer of ether, sky, sixth layer of mind, seventh layer of intelligence, eighth layer of ego. And then you will be able to see the causal ocean, Karan Samudra. These are the 8 layers. And these 8 layers are considered aggregate of all the 8 material elements. And the segregate parts, small parts of these 8 aggregate material elements are the ones which we see here. The water that we are seeing here, visualizing here on this earth planet, whether the water be in the form of oceans or rivers or big ponds or lakes, that water is just a segregated small part of the original water element, the aggregate form of the water element surrounding the universe, covering the universe. So likewise, all the 8 elements which are found within this material world are just fragmental parts of these aggregate. So these aggregate 8 elements are created by Mahavishnu. And when they are created, they are not divided. They remain undivided. The division, Brahmaji performs the task of dividing these 8 elements. Like the aggregate element of mind. Brahma divides the aggregate element of mind in how many different divisions? In as many conditioned living entities there are in this material world, the Brahma divides the aggregate principle of mind. And that is how each living entity has his own subtle body and his own mind. That's just a fragmental part of mind coming from the original form of aggregate mind covering the universe. So these 8-fold coverings are the aggregate, and these aggregate elements are created by Mahavishnu. Matra. Matra means 5 objects of the senses: Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Ras, Gandha, sound, touch, smell, taste, etc. Indriya means 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 action performing senses. Dash Jnanendriya, Panch Jnanendriya, Panch Karmendriya. You know all these 10 senses. And Dhiya means mind, intelligence and ego. Bhuta means just the 5 gross elements. Dhiya means mind, intelligence and ego. But remember, when Lord Mahavishnu creates them, he only creates the aggregate forms of both the 5 elements, the 10 senses, the mind, intelligence and ego, and the 5 sense objects. He does not create the individual forms of these. He creates only the aggregate, sum total, wholesale forms. Janma Sarga Udahrita hai, that is known as Sarga, or the primary creation. Brahmano Guna Vaishamyad Visargo Paurushaha Smritaha. And when Brahmaji, through the interaction of the 3 modes of material nature, Guna Vaishamyad, and by his own Paurusha, by his own endeavor, when Brahma, by his own endeavor, using the 3 modes, the interaction between the 3 modes of material nature as a tool, divides all these elements into individual segregated parts, and also makes different types of gross bodies for 84,100,000 species. The creation of Brahma is known as Visarga. This human body, animal body, plant body, aquatic body, all these bodies, who is the creator of these bodies? Who decides what shape a particular body should have? Brahmaji decides. This creation is not done by Mahavishnu, but Brahmaji uses all the elements created by Mahavishnu as a tool. He does not create all these original elements of creation. He does not have that power. He only, as an engineer, he only uses the original elements of creation as a tool, and then creates 84,100,000 different bodies for different species. This is what Brahmaji does. And he also creates 14 planetary systems within this empty, hollow material universe. He creates the 14 planetary systems using these 8 elements, 5 gross and 3 subtle. Chaturdash Bhuvan, the 14 planetary systems have been created by Brahma. So this is known as Visarga, or the secondary creation. Sthitir Vaikuntha Vijayah, Poshanam Tadanugraha, Manavantara Sadharma Utayah Karma Vasanaha. Sthanam is also known as Sthitihi. Now we are discussing the third thing. Sthanam. Sthanam is also known as Sthitihi. What does Sthanam mean? Sthanam or Sthitihi means Vaikuntha Vijaya. Victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha. Victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha. And this has been described as the status quo by Srila Prabhupada. But when Srila Prabhupada translates this verse, Sthitir Vaikuntha Vijaya, at that time he does not use the word status quo. At that time he uses the words like the victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha. That's how he translates. And that is a literal translation of this shloka. The victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha. But when he gives title to the third canto, then he says status quo. Instead of using the victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha, he says status quo. But that means the same. Both of them are denoting sthanam or sthitihi, the third theme. Now, Vaikuntha Vijaya. Then, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that the victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha means when Lord maintains this material world using his different powers and energies, that is known as the victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha. Sthanam or sthitihi, status quo. Then what does Poshanam mean? The fourth theme. Poshanam tad anugraha. Sthitir Vaikuntha Vijaya, status quo, means the victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha. That means maintaining the material world, but maintaining the material world by destroying the demonic elements. By destroying the demonic elements who try to create imbalance in this material world,
Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata. By destroying the miscreants, he is maintaining the world. That is the victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha. He is always victorious against those demons who are trying to imbalance the material world, who are trying to unregulate the material world. Lord confronts them, confronts with them, kills them, destroys them, proves his victory, and regulates the material world. That is the victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha Vijaya. Poshanam Tadanugraha. The fourth theme is known as Poshanam. Poshanam literally means maintaining. But this maintaining is of different type, because maintenance has two divisions: destroying the demons and the miscreants and establishing the religion. These are the two acts of maintenance. So the first act of maintenance, destroying the miscreants, is known as Vaikuntha Vijaya, Sthiti, Sthanam. And the second part of maintaining the material world is known as maintaining the material world by first maintaining the living entities and then establishing the religion. Dharma samsthapanarthaya. These are two parts of maintenance. And establishment of the religion according to the age which is prevailing, Yuga Dharma Samsthapan, and maintaining the living entities. This is known as the compassion of the Lord, Tad Anugraha, his compassion on the living beings, living in the material world, his compassion on them, Tad Anugraha. But who does the acts of Sthiti, Tad Anugraha? Okay, who is doing Sarga? Who is the performer of Sarga? The performer of Sarga is Karana Lakshai Mahavishnu, not the Krishna of Vrindavan. The performer of Visarga is Brahma. The performer of Sthiti or Sthanam, Vaikuntha Vijaya, is also Kshiradakshai Vishnu, because he is the one who kills the miscreants. Not even Garbha-dakshai or Karana-dakshai, even they are not involved in this. Only the Kshiradakshai or the third Purush incarnation is involved in this. And the fourth theme, which is the second part of maintaining the material world, Poshanam Tadanugraha, Lord maintains the conditioned souls of this world, living entities of this world, and also the Lord. How Lord maintains the living entities of this world? By being present as witness, by being present as oversoul, supersoul, indwelling monitor, Paramatma in the heart of every living entity. And by facilitating living entities' desires, by staying as Paramatma, as staying as Paramatma within the hearts of the living entity, Lord facilitates the desires of the living entities. It is said that without Lord's sanction, even though if the living entity might desire to do some activity, living entity, he might only desire, he will only stay desiring, he will not be able to practically fulfill his desires, because the senses, mind, intelligence, ego and the body will not start working as long as the Kshiradakshai Vishnu is present as the super soul. He does not sanction these. As long as Kshiradakshai Vishnu does not permit, does not sanction mind, intelligence, ego and gross body and other senses to work, living entity will go on desiring, but his desires will not be fulfilled, because senses will not carry out the order of the living. Senses will not carry out the order, mind will not carry out, intelligence, ego and the gross body will not carry out the orders of the living entity. As long as Kshiradakshai Vishnu does not permit these subtle and gross body to do this. And that is why it has been said in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Upadrashtacha Anumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha Paramatmeti Chapyukto Vibhartya Vyaya Ishwaraha. Anumanta, Kshiradakshai Vishnu is not only witness, neutrally standing by the side of the Jivatma or spirit soul. He is not only the witness, but he is also the permission giver. He is also the permitter. Anumantacha. Anumanta means one who gives anumati or permission. One who gives anumati or permission, he is known as Anumanta. So without Lord's sanction, the entity will only be able to desire, he will not be able to fulfill his desire within this material world. So Lord, by staying as Kshiradakshai Vishnu, as Paramatma within the heart of a living entity, side by side, Ishware Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshi Arjuna Tishtati. That shloka of 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Lord actually expresses his mercy. Because without Lord staying as super soul in the heart of every living entity will not be able to do any type of action. And that is how Lord staying as super soul shows his compassion, shows his grace and also establishes religion. So Poshana means establishing religion, Dharma Samsthapan Karya, and
staying as witness and super soul in the heart of living entity, and these are known as Lord's compassion on the conditioned living entities, Tadanugraha. So this is also what Kshirodakshai Vishnu does. Krishna of Vrindavan has no direct involvement here. Manvantarani Sadharma. Manvantarani Sadharma. What does... No, Uttaya will come afterwards. Manvantarani Sadharma. You are very enthusiastic. You know, understanding everything very quickly. Manvantarani Sadharma. Manvantara has been translated as... So Poshanam has been translated as the creation of the fourth order. So there, Srila Prabhupada translates, when he gives title to every canto, he gives the fourth canto, the title, the creation of the fourth order. That corresponds to the Poshanam. That corresponds to the Poshanam, the fourth theme. Fourth canto, Prabhupada gives the title, the creation of the fourth order, that corresponds to the fourth theme of our discussion, Poshanam. But when he translates Poshanam in this verse, in the second canto, then Prabhupada does not use the word, the creation of the fourth order. Rather, he translates it as maintenance of the Lord, maintenance of this material world and the living entities by the Lord through his compassion. That is how he translates. But then when he gives the title, he says the creation of the fourth order, which means the same, Poshanam. Fifth, Manvantarani. Manvantara. Actually, the literal meaning of Manvantara is, what is the literal meaning of Manvantara? The change of Manus. So there Srila Prabhupada translates Manvantara as the change of Manus. That means here, while translating this shloka. But when he gives the title to the fifth canto, then he says prescribed duties for the mankind. And that corresponds to the fifth theme of our discussion Manvantarani. That means the same as Manvantara. So now the Manvantara have been described here as Sadharma. Yes, the prescribed duties for mankind established by the Manu of each different millennium. There are 14 millenniums. There are 14 Manvantaras within each day of Brahma. One day of Brahma is one Kalpa. Within each day of Brahma there are 14 Manvantaras. Each Manvantara has a different Manu. And that Manu is the one who establishes the law, the laws, the codes, the ethical codes, the moral codes for that particular millennium. Just like the ethical codes for this millennium are written by Maharaj Manu in his Manu Samhita. The whole mankind has to follow the orders given by Maharaj Manu in his Manu Samhita. So that is how the prescribed duties for the mankind are set by the Manus at the beginning of every millennium, at the beginning of every Manvantara. So Manvantara means the prescribed duties for the mankind. Utayaha karma vasanaha. What does Uta, the sixth theme of our discussion, Utayaha. Utayaha is Bahuvachan, is plural case. Singular case is Uti. Uti, Utayaha. Uti singular case, Utayaha plural case. Uti means material desire. Uti means desire. And Utayaha means desires. So what does the desires mean? So here it is translated by Shukdev Goswami. Shukdev Goswami, these are the definitions given by Shukdev Goswami actually. So Shukdev Goswami defines Utayaha as Karma Vasana. Karma Vasana means, Prabhupada translates it as creative impetus. And Karma Vasana means the material desires. Because what is the cause of creation? Why this material world is there? Because to fulfill the desires, the material desires of the living entities which culminate in their sense enjoyment. So just in order to fulfill the desires of the conditioned living entities, this whole material creation is there. That is why creative impetus. What is the impetus after creation? Why this material world altogether has to be created? What is the purpose? Just in order to fulfill the desires of the living entities, their material desires. So their material desires, their karma vasana, their fruitive desires are known as the creative impetus Utayaha. Seventh is known as...
Who takes care of that?
Oh, who takes... Okay, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Kshirodakshai Vishnu is the one who takes care of that. And Manvantarani, Saddharma, the prescribed duties for the mankind, who takes care of that?
the 14 Manus, they take care of that. Udaya Karma Vasana, Kshirodakshai Vishnu again takes care of this part. And then comes Manvantare Ishanu Katha, Manvantar Ishanu Katha. Yes, the seventh theme is Ishanu Katha. What does Ishanu Katha mean? Ishanu Katha means the science of God. So here Shukdev Goswami describes Ishanu Katha as Avataranucharitam Hareshchasyanuvartinam Pungsam Ishakatha Prokta Nanakhyanopabrihmitaha. Shukdev Goswami says that Ishanu Katha means the descriptions of the pastimes of all the incarnations of Lord. And there are 6 types of incarnations. If you see Laghu-Bhagavatam of Rupa Goswami, there are 6 types of incarnations. Manvantara-avatar, Yuga-avatar, Purusha-avatar, Guna-avatar, Shakti-avatar, Lila-avatar, etc. So the descriptions of the pastimes of all the different incarnations of the Lord, Avataranucharitam, and also the descriptions of the pastimes of his devotees, Harehe cha asya anuvartinam. Those who are anuvartis, those who are the followers of the Lord, those who are his devotees, their description, which is made full of variety by adding many different types of stories, narrations, नाना ख्यानों पर ब्रह्महिता, नाना विध आख्यानों के द्वारा जिस ईशानु कथा का उपब्रह्मण किया गया है, ये हिंदी अर्थ होगा इसका. That ईशानु कथा which has been made entertaining, which has been made full of variety, multifarious, by annexing, by adding different types of narrations, historical narrations, nana khyana upabrimhita. That is known as the Ishanu Katha or the science of God, and the 7th canto is that. 8th canto, which rather describes many incarnations. 7th canto only describes Narsingha avatar. But 8th canto describes most of the incarnations in Srimad-Bhagavatam. Most of the incarnations are described in 8th canto. But 8th canto is rather not given the name Ishanu Katha, but it is rather given the name Nirodha. Okay, so Nirodha, what does Nirodha mean here? Nirodhosyaru shayanam atmanah sah shaktivihi. Yes. When the Supreme Lord Karanodakshai Mahavishnu, so Avataranu Charitam Hareshchasyanu Vartinam. So all those incarnations which are described, avatars, these incarnations, Shri Krishna is incarnation? No, he is avatari, he is not incarnation. He is not avatar, he is avatari. So these avatars, Ishanu Katha means descriptions of the avatar. So avatars or expansions or incarnations, it is said that Kshirodakshai Vishnu expands as different incarnations like Varah, Matsya, Kurma, Narsingha, etc. So again, Ishanu Katha, who is the performer? Kshirodakshai Vishnu and his different incarnations, in his different expansions, they are the performer, and also the devotees of those incarnations, like Prahlad, who is the devotee of Narsingha incarnation. They are the performers of Ishanu Katha here. Nirodha Asyanu Shayanam Atmanah Sah Shaktivi. Who is the performer of Nirodha? Karanodakshai Mahavishnu. He is the performer. Because Nirodha means Asya Anushayanam. The sleep of the Lord, the divine slumber of the Lord, under the influence of Yogamaya, the divine slumber of Lord Mahavishnu, Karanodakshai Vishnu, under the influence of Yogamaya, which is known as Yoga Nidra also. When the Lord is resting with all his transcendental energies, and also when all the living entities, conditioned living entities of this material world, at the time of final annihilation, Atyantik Pralay, there are 4 types of annihilations. So the last type of annihilation, ultimate destruction, Atyantik Pralay, and these 4 types are described in the 12th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. So the last ultimate type of destruction, Atyantik Pralay, during the time of final dissolution, all the living entities, including Brahma, relinquishing their gross bodies, but taking on their subtle bodies, enter into the form of Mahavishnu. They merge into the body of Karanodakshai Mahavishnu. That is known as Nirodha.
And what is mukti? Muktir hitvanyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthiti. So Nirodha is described in the 8th canto. But can you get any feeling of Nirodha within 8th canto? Is 8th canto actually describing Nirodha? Or winding up of the creation? Where the winding up of the creation has been really described? In the 12th canto. In the 12th canto. But still there are many reasons. This is the controversial point between different acharyas. So Nirodha, winding up of the creation in 8th canto. Rather you see that in the 8th canto, Ishanu Katha has been described, the different incarnations have been described. But Nirodha, according to the current explanation that we are taking, Nirodha is described in the 8th canto. 9th canto, Mukti or liberation has been described. And what does liberation mean? According to Shukdev Goswami, Mukti hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthitihi. Mukti or liberation means rejecting. Hitva means rejecting anyatha rupam, the imposed nature, rejecting the imposed nature and reviving the original nature, being situated in the original constitutional position as servants of the Lord, as is Nitya Das. That is known as Mukti. Muktir Hitva, and what is the Anyatha Swarup? What is the imposed secondary artificial nature? Bhayam dvitiya bhiniveshatah syad ishatapetasya viparyayo smritihi. That shloka of Srimad-Bhagavatam. This is our code. That describes very nicely the imposition. Imposition means the subtle and the gross bodies. They are imposed by material nature on living entity. So when living entity completely severs and disconnects himself from the subtle and gross bodies, these impositions, then he becomes liberated. This is described in the 9th canto. But in the 12th canto, Parikshit Maharaj becomes liberated. So 12th canto can also be considered describing Mukti, because Mukti of Parikshit Maharaj is in 12th canto. Now, I'm just telling you all these things because the different acharyas have interpreted this differently. Muktir hito anyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthitihi. So Srila Prabhupada defines it as, and some other acharyas also define it as, 9th canto belonging to the Mukti. 10th canto is describing...
Who takes care of 9th?
Oh, Mukti. Mukti is given by Narayan, Vishnu. Krishna has nothing to do with that. Mukti is given by Vishnu. But Prema Bhakti, which is a different thing than Mukti, is given by Shri Krishna himself. But if we take Mukti to mean Prema Bhakti, because Mukti Pade Sadaya Bhag, that verse, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, that conversation in the Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, then Mukti Pade Sadaya Bhag, that verse is translated as, Mukti is translated as Prema Bhakti. So yes, if we take Mukti to mean liberation only, then Shri Dakshay Vishnu takes care of that. But if we mean Mukti to mean lovingly serving the Lord, then Krishna himself takes care of that. That is the 9th canto. And 10th canto is Ashray. According to Srila Prabhupada and some other acharyas, 10th canto is Ashray. Ashray means the ultimate, the reservoir, the source, the ultimate shelter, the Samambana, Ashray. That is Shri Krishna himself, the Krishna of Vrindavan. Ete chanch kalaha punsaha Krishnastu bhakti. Because he is not only the Ashray of material world and the energies like internal, marginal and external, he is also the Ashray of all the other Vishnu Tattva expansions. That is why he is the ultimate Ashray, Samambana, Krishna of Vrindavan, and no one else, not even Narayan, not even Ramchandra. So this Ashray is the 10th canto. Yes, Ashray is the 10th canto. Yes. This seems very appealing to the mind. But then some other acharyas still have other arguments. They cannot accept 10th canto as being Ashray. So, now let us see, what does Ashray mean according to Shukdev Goswami's definition. Shukdev Goswami says, Abhasascha nirodhascha yatostyadhyavasiyate sa ashrayah param brahma paramatmeti drishyate. Paramatmeti shabdyate. Also this is part Veda here.
आभासश्च निरोधश्च यतोस्त्यप्यवसीयते स आश्रयः परं ब्रह्म परमात्मेति शब्दते. What is ashraya? Ashraya means where abhas and nirodh both culminate. This is very technical definition of ashraya. Wherein abhas and nirodh both culminate. That object, that absolute truth, Param Brahma, that super soul Paramatma, wherein both the nirodh and the abhas, they both culminate, that is known as ashraya or the samam bonum, the ultimate shelter. Now what does it mean by abhas and nirodha? So nirodha has already been explained. What is nirodha here? Nirodha means the winding up of the creation, the dissolution, the annihilation, when all the living entities along with their subtle bodies they merge into Mahavishnu, that is nirodha. And what does abhas mean? Abhas means the gross manifest form of the material world. Before the dissolution takes place, the gross manifest form of the material world, that is known as abhas. Because there in the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, Rite artham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyad atmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamah. There Jiva Goswami says that abhas means Guna Maya. No, Jiva Maya. And Tamah means Guna Maya. So abhas is taken to be Jiva Maya, but here abhas is taken to mean Maya in general, including Jiva Maya and Guna Maya both. Maya in total. So abhas means the manifest form of the material world, and nirodha means the winding up. Who is the ultimate cause for the winding up? We can say, oh, Mahavishnu is the cause for winding up because everything merges into him at the time of dissolution. But where Mahavishnu merges? He merges in the Mahasankarshan of the second quadruple expansion of Vaikuntha. And from where the Mahasankarshan of the second quadruple expansion of Vaikuntha comes? He comes from the Sankarshana of the first quadruple expansion of Dwarka. And from where does the Sankarshana of the first quadruple expansion of Dwarka come? He comes from the Balram of Vrindavan. And the Balram of Vrindavan is Tadekatma Roop of Shri Krishna, who is Swayam Roop, Swayam Bhagwan. So Shri Krishna, Swayam Roop, Swayam Bhagwan, he is the ultimate cause of the winding up of the creation Nirodh. And Abhas, same thing for the Abhas also. Same thing. From Krishna emanates Tadekatma Swarup Balram, Balram of Vrindavan. From the Balram of Vrindavan comes out the Balram of Dwarka and Mathura, who is known as the Sankarshana of the first quadruple expansion. Then from the Sankarshana of the first quadruple comes out the Sankarshana of the second quadruple, of the Sankarshana of the Vaikuntha. Then from the Sankarshana of Vaikuntha again comes out Mahavishnu, Karanadakshai. Then from Karanadakshai the creation again starts. So Shri Krishna directly, indirectly, Anvaya Vyatireka, both ways he is the cause, ultimate cause for both the Abhas, the creation, and Nirodha, dissolution. And that is why it has been said in Padma Puran, in the very beginning of Bhagavat Mahatmya, Satchidananda Rupaya Vishwatpatyadi Hetave, Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha Vishwatpatyadi Hetave. The ultimate cause for the Utpatti, Sthiti and Sanghar, etc. Sanghar means dissolution, annihilation. Sthiti means maintenance. And Utpatti means creation. The ultimate cause for the creation, maintenance and dissolution for this material world is not Brahma, Shiva or Vishnu. Shiradakshai Vishnu is not the ultimate cause for maintenance. Shiva or Rudra is not the ultimate cause for destruction. And Brahma is not the ultimate cause of creation. The ultimate cause of creation is Shri Krishna. This is how he is considered to be the ultimate cause. Vishwatpatyadi Hetave. Shri Krishna विश्व की उत्पत्ति स्थिति और संहार तीनों के आदि हेतु हैं. He is not the immediate cause, but he is the ultimate cause. The immediate cause may be Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. But the ultimate cause of creation, maintenance and dissolution is Shri Krishna only. Vishwatpatyadi hetave tapatraya vinashaya Shri Krishnaya vayam namaha. So, now the ashraya has been described. The ultimate samam bonum is the Krishna of Vrindavan and no one else. Now, starting from tomorrow, we will
Elaborate.
Well, ashraya
Yes.
Then there's further,
Yes.
Radha Krishna, Nayanya.
Oh yes, that's all right. That's all right. But Vrindavan Krishna means that.
With that, the Nam Namo Parasmai Purushaya Bhuyate Sharutos.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, okay. You raise the hand first.
Yes, it was unclear to me when you were explaining, when you were on Stanam and Poshanam, you mentioned destroys demons in both sections, and I was just wondering which one it was applicable.
No, destruction of the demons happens in sthiti, sthanam.
Stanam.
Sthanam. That is translated as the victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha on top of the demons who are trying to unregulate the affairs of the material universe. Vaikuntha Vijaya. And Poshanam means tad anugraha. Poshanam means establishing the religion, dharma samsthapan karya, and Poshanam also means by being present as super soul, facilitating the activities of conditioned living beings and thereby displaying compassion on them. Poshanam tad anugraha. That is the Poshanam.
Question.
I have a short.
Yeah, short question.
Comment.
Yeah.
Number one, I would like to say, Rajesh Maharaj, you have excellently distilled the whole concept known as Srimad-Bhagavatam.
This is all by the mercy of the Vaishnavas.
In a very simple but yet comprehensive, in less than 2 hours. So this is a very commendable achievement. My question is that Shabd, which is word, and Akshar.
Shabda means word and Akshar means syllable.
Syllable.
Yeah.
So Akshar, Prabhupada and other acharyas have stopped at Akshar and they have not commented on
Actually,
word. I'm saying it reverse.
Yeah. No Acharya has commented on Akshara. Even they have accepted
Yes.
that the Akshara also has a different, each syllable also has a different meaning, but they have not commented on that.
But they have commented on the word. How do you say?
Yeah, they have commented on the Shabda, word, but they have not commented on the syllables forming the Shabda, forming the word.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That Prabhupada stopped by translating every word of Srimad-Bhagavatam
Yes, yes.
into English, which is so narrow, small, vocabulary language,
Yeah.
and he was able to put everything in English.
Yes.
But is that because nobody else has done, that has not been done? Because if you go to every syllable, then it will be that big, huge volume.
And actually, the meaning of every syllable has no practical use.
Yes.
Has no practical use. Although you can derive that type of definition.
But sometimes it seems like Jiva and Vishwanath do that in their commentaries on various scriptures like Bhakti Rasamrita.
Yeah.
They do it sometimes.
They break the constituents of a particular word and they try to explain each constituent of a particular word.
Sometimes they say it could mean this, if you say like that. Like
Yeah, sometimes it is done, but that's not the general rule there.
Like the Apavarga.
Yeah. Now I think we will have private questions.
One question.
Oh, okay.
You explained, those 7 layers,
Yeah.
8 layers, 5, earth, water, fire, ether, and then there's
Yeah.
mind, intelligence, ego.
Yeah.
I can understand how earth, water, fire, layers
And they are
exist.
10 times bigger than each preceding layer.
But how does mind, intelligence, and ego exist in aggregate form? How does that?
I think we will have to experience that physically. Unless we experience it physically and see it face to face, we will not be able to understand how
but
that
did
has
you
been
get
done.
into, so you started to say how the acharyas argue on the very controversial, you didn't seem to get into it that much.
No, I don't have time. I can go. I can up to 11 o'clock. But I think rather tomorrow, part we'll discuss that.
So when they say 7-fold, sometimes 8-fold, maybe they're merging mind and ego sometime as one. layer because it's so.
No. It's completely different point of argument from the argument starts off.
Set as far as eightfold, sevenfold?
No, that's not the point of argument there.
No, but as far as that goes.
The point of argument is which canto should be considered describing which theme. And
Sometimes we hear that they appear in various cantos, each theme.
Yeah, but you will see how each acharya is substantiating his claim to be right, and they all seem to be really convincing.
So maybe both are right then.
Yeah, actually they are all right. The thing is, the final conclusion is they are all right, but it's very interesting how they debate. Sridhar Swami has a different opinion. Vishwanath and Jeev and Sanatan have different opinion. Vallabhacharya has a quite different opinion, and Prabhupada has quite different opinion.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I think he will be last. Okay.
Well, when you talk more about the controversy between Acharyas Tamar, could you touch also on how do we view that they have these differences, and how does a disciple of one of them view the perspective?
I think we should use the explanation given by a particular acharya, which seems more appealing in a particular context of Bhagavatam. It does not. We are not saying that only use one acharya's definition for the whole Bhagavatam. Use all the different acharyas' definition which are seeming more close to what the real thing is being described in the particular canto. If that definition is seeming more, it's seen more close to the thing being described in Bhagavatam, it depends. Sometimes Vishwanatha seems more appealing, sometimes Vallabhacharya seems more appealing, yes. Vallabhacharya seems more appealing sometimes. So we will just use the definitions given by these acharyas according to the different context.
Can we take the interpretation of acharyas of our Sampradaya?
Yes, but when we are having nishtha in the interpretation of, but because there are some reasons why we should have nishtha in the acharyas of our sampradaya. Because if we will just take the definition given by Sridhar Swami and Vallabhacharya, then also some problems will arise. And so the definition given by our acharyas, they solve that problem. But then again, Vallabhacharya and Sridhar Swami, they are also not agreeing mutually. And they are also not agreeing mutually, and they are also not agreeing with what the Gaudiya acharyas are thinking. And they all have their own shastric evidences to support themselves. And sometimes one acharya seems more appealing than other acharya. It depends individually. So I think Srimad-Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he said, what the shloka that we quoted in the beginning, Prati Akshare Prati Shabde Nana Artha Koi. The final conclusion is that Srimad-Bhagavatam is unlimited, so what all the acharyas are saying is also true. First canto can also mean Adhikar Leela. First canto can also mean Sarga. There are very different interpretations of the first canto. 10th canto, which we are actually focusing on, but we cannot understand 10th canto without the previous 9. So 10th canto, some acharyas describe it as Ashraya Tattva, some acharyas describe it as Nirodha. But even Nirodha has two different definitions. Vallabhacharya gives a completely different definition of Nirodha, and Sridhar Swami gives completely different definition of Nirodha. And the Gaudiya acharyas say that Ashraya Tattva is just described in the 10th canto. Some say that Nirodha is described in the 10th canto. Even Nirodha has different meanings. In which context they are saying that the Nirodha is being described in 10th canto, that is also a very particular context, depending on every acharya.
The Ashraya, it says right in the Bhagavatam, in that second canto verse.
Yes. So we will describe everything tomorrow. Yes.
Building on Kishore's question,
Yeah.
I mean, every living entity here, we have mind, intelligence, false ego.
Yeah.
So you're saying that mind, intelligence, false ego is surrounding the entire universe. Well, whose mind, intelligence, false ego is it? Is it like everybody's, or is it like Lord Shiva's? Or
Okay. Let me tell you what happens.
What question is that?
What happens is, the subtle body, when the subtle body is not eternal.
First you have to understand this concept. So at the time of liberation, when subtle body becomes disconnected from the living entity, that subtle body again merges into those aggregate forms of subtle body, the aggregate form of mind, intelligence and ego. This is how the Sankhya Darshan explains.
Mergers mean there's no individuals remaining?
You see, subtle body is actually unconscious. As long as subtle body is in connection with the spirit soul, it seems to be conscious and active. As soon as subtle body is severed, it is disconnected from the spirit soul, it becomes unconscious and inactive. So this unconscious, inactive subtle body, at the time of liberation when living entity becomes disconnected from the subtle body, this subtle body again merges into the aggregate form.
Then in what form does the spirit soul remain?
All by himself at the time of liberation.
Does it reflect the mind, the spiritual mind of the entity then? Does it serve as
Living entity has its own mind, which is known as Swarupa Bhuta Mana, Swarupa Bhuta Buddhi, and Swarupa Bhuta Ahankar. That is also known as Swarupa Bhuta Abhiman. One's own innate ego, one's own innate mind, one's own innate intelligence. They are actually parts of living entity's constitutional position. They are not parts of the subtle body given by Maya, imposed by Maya.
And this is the primal difference between Mayavadis or Nirankaris and Swarupvadis or people who want to...
Personalists. Actually, Jiva Goswami says in Tattva Sandarbha that according to Shankaracharya, the subtle body is considered Jivatma, not the spirit soul. Shankaracharya considers subtle body to be the Jiva. Completely different definition from what the Vaishnava Acharyas are giving. Vaishnava Acharyas say that Jiva means the living entity. Shankaracharya says Jiva means the subtle body. He says living entity is nothing else than the impersonal Brahman, the absolute truth. So Jivatma is the subtle body, and subtle body becomes destroyed, so Jivatma is temporary. The Jiva is temporary, and this individual soul is nothing else than the absolute truth, Brahman. Whereas the subtle body is known as Jiva. That is how Shankaracharya has explained Jiva. But that's not the same definition of Jiva that we are taking. We are saying that Jiva means not the subtle body but the spirit soul.
So what would they say in personalists about this merging of the living entity as far as the...
They also accept the same process given in the Puranas and the Sankhya Darshan. Even the impersonalists, the followers of Shankaracharya, they also say that living entity becomes disconnected from the subtle body, and subtle body enters into the aggregate form of these elements, and the living entity merges into impersonal Brahman and becomes one with it.
You just said they separate from the living entity.
Yeah, that is accepted.
They don't accept living entity separate from the subtle body.
But then
No.
Dualism.
You see, they have three sattas. Shankaracharya has three states of existence, his own invention. Vyavaharik satta, Paramarthik satta and Pratibhasik satta. So in Vyavaharik satta, even Shankaracharya accepts difference between subtle body and the living entity and the absolute truth Brahman. But in the Paramarthik satta he does not, and this is all his bird jugglery, forget about it.
So that means their goal is just to go into the material world and circulate around the universe.
No. Their goal is to merge into impersonal Brahman. That is why I say, Mayavad is full of contradictions. They just... you can never come to a real conclusion in their philosophy.
What do the acharyas refer to? They use the word heart. Sometimes it's
heart does not mean this organ heart.
No, I know that.
This is mundane completely. This is made up of veins and arteries. No. Heart means not the heart which pumps the blood. Heart not as organ. Heart means not even the mind, material mind in the subtle body. Heart means that mind which is living entity's own mind. That is what we mean by the heart here. Not even this mind, which is part of the subtle body.
Would you say Chetana would be the word? consciousness.
Yes, but still sometimes in order to denote that consciousness, the word heart has been used many times.
So the pure mind.
Yeah, pure mind, the mind of the living entity, not the mind comprising the subtle body given by Maya. No. Yeah, Swarup Bhutamana, it is called Swarup Bhutamana. And if you will read the introduction to Bhagavad Rahasya, written by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he clearly differentiates that soul also has its own mind intelligence and ego. That's different from the subtle body. Then you can get that from there. Okay, Hare Krishna. Individual.
You have two things.
Okay.
You said that some of the shlokas sometimes are changed.
Yeah.
So this famous verse, Mukam Karoti Vacha.
Pangum Langayate Girim Yakriva. No, but this shloka has been deliberately changed. This is not a part of
The
Veda.
last line.
Yeah. This shloka actually comes. You know who is the author of this shloka? Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yakripa Tamaham Mande Paramananda Madhavam.
Or
No. That or is afterwards.
Okay.
The original form is Paramananda Madhavam. Who is the author of this shloka? Sridhar Swami. And Sridhar Swami, if you will look at all the different versions of Bhavartha Deepika. Bhavartha Deepika is the name of the commentary written by Sridhar Swami on Bhagavatam. If you will look all the different versions of Bhavartha Deepika, you will find the same verse, Paramananda Madhavam, no change. This change, Shri Gurum Dinataranam and Shri Chaitanya Krishna Ishwaram, has been done by the followers of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is not, this change has been made deliberately. It is actually interpolation actually. But it's the right interpolation. It does not contradict the Shastra. It is right interpolation, but it is still interpolation. It has been deliberately changed by the followers of Mahaprabhu.
Prabhupada did that when he made a sloka for Keshav Purkan.
Yeah.
He took that
Vairagya Vidya Adija Bhakti Yoga.
No.
Vairagya Yug Bhakti Rasam Prayatna.
And then he put Keshav Purkan's name in Sanatana.
Yeah. Sanatanam Tam Prabhumashrayami.
Yeah, so he put Keshav Purkan.
Okay.
That's common.
Actually, one time I also put Prabhupadam Prabhum Ashrayami in that shloka. I also one time did that. Okay.
Yes.
The last, you said that Vyasadeva was incarnation, was directly Sakshat Narayan.
Yes, Sakshat, he is Bhagavad Shaktyadish. This Vyasadeva,
Right.
present Vyasadeva.
So is the Buddha also?
No. Buddha is Jiva Shaktyadish.
So he's in the Dasavatar. Nindasi Yagya.
Oh, you mean the Buddha of this? Oh, yes. The Buddha of this particular yoga. Yes. Okay. He is also Bhagavad Shaktyadish, but the other Buddhas are not. And actually, there are 24 types of Buddhas. There are 24 types of Buddhas. So the first Buddha, Sugata Buddha, he is the incarnation of Vishnu. Sugata Buddha, yes. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Private question.
Yeah.
Maybe you let me talk 30 seconds. The rest yourself.
Not a too long question, right?
No.
Okay.
And we can touch base on that.